Okay, hello everyone. So today I'm tag teaming, from with Chris, and there are three important topics that we're going to discuss it today. All right. So the first one is talking about H2O and AT&T together co-developed a product called Feature Store, and want to give you a simple overview about that particular product. The second thing that I want to more focus on how actually we use this H2O Feature Store in AT&T, and it's not just for a data scientist, also for citizen data scientists. So we're going to show you the entire flow of how we are operationalizing this entire AI, at the scale of AT&T using the Feature Store. The third one is Feature Store and GenAI. We put together a small video clip to show you guys, how actually Feature Store also really helping us in the world of GenAI application side of it. So those are the three important topics today we're going to cover. So first one, let me talk about the overview about H2O Feature Store. So if you ask any data scientist, if you ask them, where do you spend most of your time? 80% of their time they spend finding the data, collecting the data, cleansing it, and creating this valuable features that's really helping anyone if they are building any sort of a machine learning model. So most of the time they spend time in preparing those features, and these all features, if you think about it, it's sitting in data scientist's laptop, or maybe somebody stored in a database, or somebody trying to put it in some cloud storage place. But this is such a valuable assets. If you take any company, you really want to keep it in one place and try to make use of it how across the entire organization, right? So that's a very key important factor. So 80% of your time, if you think about it, and you create that hundreds and thousands of features, you want to store it in one place and reuse it as many times you can. So move on to the next slide, please. So the next slide, I just want to talk about the data that it's been, produced in the organizations, right? It's there in the form of real time, or it is there in the form of batch mode, or even in real time. And we get all these data sets, and we use multiple data pipelines in order to do that feature engineering, right? I just naming few products in industry, right? So we have Databricks, Snowflake, and Palantir, and use Azure ML or AWS, or somebody can even simply use Jupyter Notebook, right? Doesn't matter which pipeline actually you are producing those features, because these all features can come in a different pipeline. But how about we store all of them in one place? We store them in offline mode because that really helps the data scientists to really train their model, right? They can experiment looking at all the different features, and they can create best model that they want. But at the same time, how about all those features also available for us in the form of an online store? So that you can quickly do the lookup. Sometimes you need to score the models in milliseconds. You can use definitely the online feature store. And if you have both these features, either sitting in offline or online, but you got to know the metadata about these features. So that is also, if you package all of them in one single storage, and either you're using it in the consumption standpoint, training side, or real-time predictions or batch predictions, you can easily use it. These are the four important steps. If you take any data pipeline, whether you're working with the data or preparing the machine learning model, during a training or predictions, it can be used. So that's the concept behind this H2O Feature Store, keeping it all in one place and making it available either offline or online. So the next slide, I will talk about how actually we are using it in AT&T, right? You can think about AT&T being such a big company. We have more than 250 professional data scientists out there. But today, all of our data scientists have been onboarded into Feature Store, right? And they derived, or they produce the features. There are about 40,000 features sitting in the Feature Store. And there are more than 200 machine learning models has been onboarded into the Feature Store. So you take any particular machine learning model, but if you try to look at the lineage about the model, And these features, they are categorical variables or like numerical variables. Some of them are velocity features, something you derived it, in a direct way or indirect way or relational manner. Some of them are streaming features, doesn't matter. All these features, because I explained you, we have the online feature scoring capability, as well as you can do the offline. It's all sitting in one place. That's the good about H2O Feature Store. So today, because we have these 40,000 features and 200 machine learning model, it's not just our professional data scientists. The very important element that I want to highlight here, there are more than 200 citizen data scientists are using it. These features that they created, it's not just only used at the time of model training or scoring, but citizen data scientists can also come and do a simple data lookup to understand those features. Maybe they can use it part of their business process. They can insert the data if they want to take some actions out of it. So end of the day, these features, we think it's a valuable asset for the data science overall, but we are able to handle those features even in citizen data scientists. Some of them are SQL savvy, right? Some of them, they don't even know anything about it, but they can able to use these features and part of their business process. And the second thing that I just also want to highlight here, in fact, I'm going to talk about two real-time model serving use cases. The first use case is, it's actually taking multi-million transactions, and it has to, the model that what we deployed in that platform needs to respond in milliseconds also. So if you go to the next slide, I'm going to talk about fraud use case, right? AT&T being a telecommunication company, I mean, anyone else in the industry, fraud is a billion-dollar problem for us, right? So the bad actors, they daily come up with a different, new scheme of things, and come and try to victimize our customers. So it's very important for AT&T how we protect our customers, right? Doesn't matter what form of this, the fraudsters are attacking us, but we have to protect our customers. At the same time, we have to give a very balanced approach in customer experience as well. We don't want to create more frictions. So it is important that these all features that all our data scientists in AT&T they produce, we want to keep it in one place and really make it happen. When we talk about like millions of transactions, fired across a different, omni-channel. I'm showing actually in the next slide, overall high-level view, right? If you just, go with me from the left to right, there you can see anyone, showing up to AT&T retail store and they want to buy a phone or upgrade a phone, add family member whatsoever, or you go to AT&T.com and trying to do those activities, or you're calling our customer carriage and trying to purchase a phone. Doesn't matter, you come any one of our omni channels, and we collect all these features. The moment you engage with us in that sort of a platform, generating those features and storing them in Feature Store. That's why you see even part of the injection process itself, the Feature Store has been kicked in and actually is working behind the scenes for us. And we have put together the pipeline in place, and it's actually collecting those features, for that particular transactions. So then, doesn't matter, you come through any one of the channels, either you're logging in or adding stuff to a card, or checking out, or shipment. These are all the four high-level, transactions that I'm talking about, but there are like, hundreds of transactions happens in the overall workflow. But anytime you do any one of those things, the machine learning models, there are like more than 50 machine learning models running behind the scenes and trying to understand, this particular transaction is fraudulent or authentic, right? And there you can see we are also using, H2O driverless AI. So it's very important for us to not just only use the features that what we created, and trying to see that in the combination of driverless AI, it is really, making sense to us to understand a particular transaction is a fraud or not fraud. And of course, based on the model outcome, in a real time during the serving time we are taking some sort of an action. So in a nutshell, even the serving side also our online feature store has been used. So if you think about a simple real-time, AI pipeline, right from where we are gathering the data because a particular transaction is happening, then creating those valuable features, then keeping them part of this machine learning model and scoring them, and then really taking the remediation during the serving time. All the angle this feature store has been plugged in part of the platform. So that shows you how this H2O feature store is really helping us the entire journey of one particular transactions. This all needs to happen in milliseconds, by the way, right? And 24/7. That's the sort of an operations we are running against the H2O feature store. So if you go to the next slide, so here I'm talking about another use case, right? So this use case, like anyone else in industry, obviously we have to take care of our customer churn. Someone you can think of it, the feature store is not just a storage standpoint for us to keep these features, but at the same time, it's giving a shopping experience, right? Anyone can get into the feature store and they can shop around the features. It was created for a different context by different data scientists, but maybe those features are useful us, right? I mean, can we just do the experimentation and see, like, do we get any performance, right? That's what happened in one of our machine learning model by our data scientist. And before, they use the feature store, they had the accuracy about 66, percentage. But obviously they went to the feature store and they looked for some of the features. And in just matter of 2 hours, the feature store, when they looked at the features, and especially some features related to the account activity, that really lifted the model, the performance. And so, we got about 11% increase in our, kind of a lift we got it in our machine learning model. So this is another use case that I'm just talking to you. When you operationalize this feature store, one side I shown to you how it's really helping us during the real-time pipeline. The other side, even for a shopping experience, you go and look at those features. Like I mentioned, we have 40,000 features. That's really helpful, right? When you have 200 model in place, you can shop around and getting this sort of a lift. It's really awesome for us. So these are the two important use cases that I just want to explain to you guys when we are operationalizing this feature store, end-to-end fashion, not necessarily from the model training, but all the way to the end point of model serving as well. So let's go to the next slide, please. So the next one, we're going to show to you a small a demo of how actually this feature store also, used in the context of a GenAI. We all know that GenAI is kind of a big disruption, I would say, right now in the market. It's hockey-stick growth. But how actually we are using the feature store, how it's really getting into the context. And Jim, sorry, Chris, you have a video? Yeah, so I'm going to, search one particular feature set, a Kaggle. You all know that this is a Titanic disaster, the feature set. And you can look at our GUI, that how it just looks like, the H2O feature store. You have all sort of, description about that particular feature set and all the features, the time to live or time travel, or even the governance standpoint, whether it's a spy data or not, along with the version control, all those things in place. In the right-hand side, you can kind of see the features. I'm just clicking off some of the features here. The people who surveyed, either it's a numerical feature or categorical features. You can kind of see all those features in the right-hand side, right? So now I'm getting into this AT&T GenAI, use case standpoint. Now a citizen data scientist is asking a question, just to brief me the description about this particular feature set, right? So this is a citizen data scientist, and when they ask, it definitely brings the description about that particular feature set. It's talking to the feature store and getting it. And second time, now I'm asking a bit more complicated question. Show me the count and percentage of all the passengers who survived and did not survive by ticket class, right? And here I'm also asking group by some of the factor, and look at that, the answer that is coming from actually from Feature Store, right? So that's the way, we are using the Feature Store. I'm just asking some other question over here. So the context here is a citizen data scientist who can simply ask using a natural language, simple English, and when they ask her questions, we are able to generate the query very native to the Feature Store. And from the behind the scenes of the Feature Store, we are able to pull the data and present it to the users where they can able to consume it in a simple courier fashion. So these features what's sitting in Feature Store, it's not just there in offline and online, because we have a very good metadata associated with these features. Now you can get into the GenAI mode and you can just ask a simple question. It can able to produce the answers straight away from the Feature Stores. So those are the three things today we want to talk about it, and how this H2O Feature Store is so unique in a manner, and also how we are using it in AT&T. With that, I just want to conclude. I mean, any questions about H2O Feature Store? I have my contact details over here, as well as Chris from H2O. So this is a code developed between AT&T and H2O. And please, we have our LinkedIn profile as well. So any question, please, talk to us, and we are ready to help you.
Thanks a million, Prince. Thanks, Chris. This has been really great to hear